Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic.
And you're new!
And we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid.
Hot tag!
Hot tag!
Hot tag, okay, I got you, I'm coming in hot. You know, I'm gonna hit that Big E spear.
We'll see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Welcome back to the flippity dippity. You haven't heard it in a couple of videos. You know, they've been holding it back, and I know you missed it. I know you missed it. So welcome back to the flippity dippity, featuring the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. And we are starting a new journey, a new road trip, if you will, down the WrestleMania road thingy. The road to WrestleMania, we're going down it.
WrestleMania fast lane.
Yeah, the WrestleMania fast lane. We're taking a road trip. We're going to be doing a little series on our favorites, 16 of our favorite WrestleManias, not necessarily in order of our favorites, but we're going in order of how they came. So, came. I'm sorry if there's children watching and I just made a joke. But hopefully they're young enough they don't understand. But we are starting with WrestleMania 3. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you start with WrestleMania 1 or 2? It's because they already make me feel old. I don't need to feel any older than I already feel in the instant classic. Shut up.
Do you want to tell them the process we went through of making these? Because maybe on this channel they might not know because we didn't do the video on this channel.
Oh, yes. So, we started from 47 WrestleManias. Yes, I know. There was only 31 currently, but somehow we had 47. I don't know how it happened. So basically, myself, DJ, and the other guy, Justin, we all picked 10 of our favorite WrestleManias, and we kind of narrowed it down to a list of 16. We were going to do, you know, just a list compiled of top 10, and then Justin was like, we should add more. And so we did.
And guess who's not here?
Yeah, and look who isn't ready, Justin. I'm out of town. But yeah, so we're gonna do 16. Basically, we're doing, I think it was 13, and then
it was 10 and 2 honorable mentions from each of us.
Oh yeah, that's how it got to yeah. So basically, we all got 2 honorable mentions, and then we did the top 10. But let's start with WrestleMania 3. This was held March 29th, 1987, so I wasn't born yet. Yes, I'm old, but I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born for a couple of months. Aretha Franklin sang America the Beautiful. Any thoughts on Aretha Franklin singing America the Beautiful?
I mean, I watched this at least 5 times. It was terrific. My goodness, that lady can put on a show. I don't know. For some reason, her singing America the Beautiful, or anytime someone sings, especially at a sporting event, or more so specifically a wrestling event, it makes it feel more like a sport. You know, like it makes it feel more like you're going into watching like the Super Bowl. It makes it feel, I think it even makes it feel a little bit bigger too. When someone, you know, sings something like this, because I was hyped, you know. Once I heard Aretha Franklin, she was killing it too. She was killing. If you never heard, if you don't watch anything from this show, and you watch Aretha Franklin sing "America the Beautiful," I mean, you might call that match of the night. It was beautiful. Get it, America the Beautiful.
I mean, that it is true. It was beautiful. It was America the Beautiful. Okay. Let's go on to the first match. So it opens up with a tag team match. We had the Can-Am Connection versus Magnificent Morocco and Cowboy Bob Orton. That's right, Cowboy Bob. The only thing I didn't really like about this show, I mean, and earlier pay-per-views, I guess, is there were some weird camera angles, like the one main, camera angle of the full ring. It felt like you were back in, like, the 30th row. I don't know if you felt the same way, DJ, but I was like, who's in the ring? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Cowboy Bob, yeah. It just felt like you were so far away. But, I mean, obviously, technology has changed. This was back in '87. So they obviously didn't have the same cameras as they do now. They didn't have the camera setups that they do now and everything like that. But that was the only thing I didn't really like about it. But this was a really good match. I like watching first-generation wrestlers like Cowboy Bob to kind of see similarities, differences between him and, Randy. Just kind of, see what they do the same, what they do differently, if there's little mannerisms that they both do. So that was really kind of fun to watch. The Can-Am Connection did get the win. Any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I agree. It was a good match. I noticed something very quickly, but first on the camera angles. Yeah, it was kind of weird just throughout the show. Like you would see like some really far camera angles, but some really close ones. Like it felt like they had like a camera strapped to somebody's leg, and then they were like getting really close to him. But I felt like the crowds back in the day got excited for everything that the faces did. like the face would hit a front kick, yeah, and the crowd would be so hyped. And I was like, why can't we have this now? I mean, I'll get excited for a nice little right hand or a toe kick or something. Come on, let's do that now. Let's start it. Next wrestling show. Let's start it. Next Raw, we're gonna do it. We hear some random music, yeah. We just gonna get excited. I thought it was cool that the Can-Am Connection ended up winning with a crossbody. I just thought that was cool because you don't see that anymore. Like someone hit a crossbody, but like, oh no, it's not gonna be over that way. And I think a lot of these matches felt like they ended at weird periods. Like, and I guess it's because you're just so used to watching. The newer wrestling and used to watching them, hit the big elbow drop. Well, we did see an elbow drop, or hit like, an F5 or something, and that ends it. But like something as simple as a crossbody or like maybe even a simple like, roll up or something. I just wasn't expecting it in this show. I think what's funny, I thought the show was pretty good overall. I'm one of those people who, up until like recently, I've never really wanted to watch these older shows. For some reason, it's just not. I just never felt like I could connect to it because like I wasn't old enough to really be into those wrestlers at that time. And stuff has changed so much. Because I mean, even overall, like when you look at the majority of the matches, they were just slower paced. Not that they weren't good matches, they were just slower paced, which is something that you also have to get used to. Especially as a fan of seeing suicide dives and ridiculous things happening in the ring every single match, it seems like. But I definitely like this match, and I just kind of gave my overall thoughts. Killing two birds with one stone.
I don't know why you got to kill birds. That's animal cruelty, and we're gonna get flagged now by YouTube. They're gonna take this video down because you be killing birds. But anyway, let's move on. Away from animal violence, because that's just wrong. And don't look at our logo, because I mean technically that's animal violence, but it's animal against animal, so it's all good. It's all good. But so next match is also in these reviews. I'm not gonna do as much of the backstage stuff, because you can go back and watch that. We're just trying to shorten these videos up a little bit because WrestleMania today you get like 5 matches. WrestleMania in 1986, 87 you get like 32 matches. So we're trying to keep the reviews as short as we can. So if there was a segment that you missed and we didn't cover it, I'm sorry. But the big ones we are gonna, there's a Piper's Pit coming up in WrestleMania 5. Obviously, we'll talk about. But as for the little after match, before match interviews, I'm not gonna really go over those too much. But our next match was Billy Jack Haynes versus Hercules. I like this match. This was one of the more kind of classic powerhouse matches. Both of these guys are really big, strong guys. And I kind of like these older powerhouse matches because they're big guys, but they're not big guys like, Batista or Triple H. These guys, are just, I don't know, they're not, bodybuilders, but they are big guys, I guess. But Hercules was in control for majority of the match. He gets his full Nelson in, but he can't get his fingers locked, thus allowing Billy Jack to break it. Billy Jack gets a full Nelson of his own, locked in on the outside, thus causing a double count out. After the match, Bobby the Brain Heenan distracts Billy Jack and after the match, and Hercules begins to attack him with his chain. I felt like there was a lot of double countouts and disqualifications and things like that in a couple of the early WrestleMania matches and things like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That could build up heat and stuff for, storylines and things. But I noticed there was a lot of them in these earlier pay-per-views. But then again, rules have changed and everything like that. It was way more traditional back early WrestleMania. Now, it's common to bring out a chair and beat somebody with it. Back in, late 80s, early 90s, that was more, you didn't see that as much, I feel like. But even though it was a chain, yes, I know it was a chain, it wasn't a chair. I was making an analogy, and it wasn't as bad as DJs usually are. So with pistachios and whatnot. But thoughts on this match, and please don't make a pistachio.
So the pistachio of this match. No, I like this match. I like the storyline in this match. I thought it was really good. I thought I don't know what it was. It was just something about the storyline. I think it brought me back to the freaking Master Lock Challenge or something. And I was like, yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what y'all did there. But I was like, wait, this match ended in a count out? How am I supposed to know how the feud ends? Come on, guys. Come on. You can't do this to me at WrestleMania. No. But I definitely I like this match. I thought it was good. Yeah, it was one of those power on power matches. And I think it's funny. I said that I wasn't really a huge fan of watching older pay-per-views or older wrestling before. But it's funny that now, like, I'm like one of the last people holding on to the big guys still being in wrestling, and still having matches against one another, which I think is actually pretty funny. But yeah, I enjoyed this match, and I thought it was. I was caught off guard by the blood at the end, or after the match, just because I just wasn't expecting to see it. With this being an older pay-per-view, things being more traditional, like you said, I wasn't really expecting to see blood. I think we saw it on twice in this night, so it was definitely interesting though. I'm kind of curious to see how this feud ended, because I think it had a good story behind it. I was gonna talk about managers. Screw it, I'll talk about managers now because I'll probably forget my point later.
Yeah, you talk about managers.
I thought it was funny, or it was interesting because there were so many managers throughout the night in this show. But it's not like they were created equal. They were all significant managers. Like they're all really rememberable managers. But sometimes you would have Jimmy Hart talk he would talk for pretty much everybody because in the South. But you had him, but then you had other managers who wouldn't necessarily talk for their talent. Like you had Mr. Fuji. You also had Bobby the Brain Heenan, who didn't always talk for his talent. I would have thought was pretty cool. Because guys like Andre the Giant and stuff like that, who don't, they talked when they needed to talk, but they didn't talk a lot. I just thought it was interesting looking at the manager situation because we talk about managers now. Like the majority of these matches included managers, whereas now we have like one manager. I feel like now it seems like so.
Yeah, and also to add to that, I feel like for me, watching older pay-per-views gives me so much more respect for the manager position, which I already loved. I've already have said in multiple videos I love managers. I wish WWE would bring it back more as a featured thing, having more managers other than just Paul Heyman. But what really, builds my respect more is, especially for Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jimmy Hart, they in a bunch of these WrestleManias, they would manage multiple guys, so they were working the whole night. It wasn't, okay, this is my one match, so I just manage this one match, and then I have the rest of the night off. They would come out with one guy, and then they come out with the next guy that they're managing later on in the night. And so they were really getting their money's or working for their paycheck, I guess.
Didn't Jimmy Hart come out like back to back? I'm pretty sure because he had two different suits on. And I was like, how did he change that quick? Jimmy, how did you do that?
How you do that? But anyway, let's move on to the match of the night. 6-man tag team match. We got Little Tokyo, we got Lord Littlebrook, and King Kong Bundy versus Haiti Kid, Little Beaver, and Hillbilly Jim. I mean, just from that, this is match of the night. God. I don't know what it is with WWE and midget wrestling, but it's just, oh my God. This was an entertaining match, but I was really excited just watching King Kong Bundy and Hillbilly Jim in the ring together. They worked really well together. I felt like they had really good chemistry. King Kong Bundy gets DQ'd for attacking Little Beaver. I have nothing else to say about this match. Any thoughts?
Yeah, this match was interesting. It had me wondering, what am I watching right now? I was like, is this WrestleMania or did I turn on the Raw real quick or something? Like it was just funny because like I was like, what is with WWE and this weird match? I thought it was funny though. Little Beaver comes in, tries to drive. He was just trying to get all up in King Kong Bundy. He didn't even care. He tried to drop kick him, no effect. King Kong Bundy was like, really? But I mean, Little Beaver was pretty much everywhere in this match. I think he was actually all little people in one, because he was everywhere in this match. I was like, man, how are you doing this? I thought it was funny though, because when Bundy dropped the elbow on Little Beaver and he was about to do it again, the other little people got in and kind of helped him out. I thought that was kind of cool. Sticking up for your peeps. I feel you. I feel you. Good work. Good work, Little Beaver and the other people. I only remember Little Beaver because he was the MVP. He took that elbow from King Kong Bundy.
I mean, but what about Lord Littlebrook and Little Tokyo? Little Tokyo. My boy, Little Tokyo.
I'm just gonna leave that there for you, Little Tokyo.
Yeah, my boy, Little Tokyo. Let's move on to King Harley Race, not King Booker, King Harley Race versus the Junkyard Dog. I wanted to be into this match, but something about it I just wasn't. I mean, I love Junkyard Dog. I love watching Junkyard Dog matches. And Harley Race is a legend. But there was something about this match I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why. Any thoughts on this match? Could you get into this match more than I could?
Yes, I could. I was so excited watching
Junkyard
Dog
King
out there, man. That's what it was, yeah. I was like, King Harley. But I liked this match. It was cool to see Moolah too. You know, and kind of her younger, still older age. I definitely I was into this match. I don't know what it was. I think I really like the Junkyard Dog. I've never really seen many of his matches. I think this might have been like one of the first I've seen. But I did play with him on that game, one of the WWE games he was on back in the day, and I was like, yeah, Junkyard Dog. But I mean, Harley Race cheated. He did. Junkyard Dog got his shoulder up, and Harley Race be, you know, giving the referee gold and stuff, and that ain't right, man. That ain't right. You know, he deserved that chair shot afterwards. He did. Once again, like, this was like the moment I was like, there's a lot more weapon usage in this pay-per-view than I ever would have expected. But I don't know. I kind of liked it. I just thought that this was one of those weird endings too, where I was like, wait, was that supposed to end right there? Like it felt like the streak ending. Like, wait, what? Hold up. But no, I don't think that was supposed to happen. I don't. Wait, hold up. So I don't know. I liked it though. I like King Harley Race. Like, he does remind me of King Booker a lot though, because like the two King of the Rings I actually remember, like, they were really like outlandish about being king. You know, I think Jerry Lawler was the same way, stealing people's music. I think Jerry Lawler was the same way though. Like, he was like very outlandish about being king. Like, I'm the king, and I like that Harley Race wasn't just like the king of the ring, but he was the king of wrestling. I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. Going back and watching older WWE pay-per-views reminds me of how many times WWE has reused entrance music for different people. They did it with Jerry Lawler. They did it with Kurt Angle. I mean, you know, come on. I believe the beginning of Razor Ramon's music was the beginning, or it is the beginning of Mankind's, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, come on, WWE, you gotta stop recycling stuff. I mean, come on now. But we're gonna move on. We're not gonna yell at you anymore about that. We're gonna move on, unless you do it again, which you will. I know you will. We get a tag team match. We get the Russo brothers versus the Dream Team, Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. I like this match. It was a bit of a slow start, it felt like, but it turned out to be a really exciting tag team match. You know, I like how the Russos worked together. It was weird at first for me watching Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine in a tag team. I've seen earlier matches of them, but I remember more of Brutus later in his career. But I like this match. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. That's another one where I felt like it ended in a weird moment. It just ended weirdly, but you know, I liked it. I like the Dream Team as a team. It was. I think it was weird, like, seeing different people not get entrances. I thought that was weird throughout the show, but.
All right.
Well, I was done.
Oh, it looks like you were still talking for a second, and I couldn't. I thought your sound went out for a second. But anyway, we get the lovely hair versus hair match. we got Adrian Adonis versus Roddy Piper. This was billed as Piper's last match. And I love Piper, so I was excited. Not excited for it to be his last match, but I was excited to see Piper. And like I've said earlier about, Jimmy Hart obviously is the man, and anybody who has Jimmy Hart as their manager, it's going to be a great match because Jimmy Hart's going to get involved somehow, or he's going to get beat up, or something's going to happen. You never have a Jimmy Hart match where nothing happens with Jimmy Hart. It always happens. I don't know what I was writing there. I wrote, okay, I'm going to skip over what that was because I wrote gibberish for a second there. But, Brutus, what the fuck did I write here? I don't even know. Give your thoughts first because I'm trying to decipher what I tried to write here.
All right. I was excited for this match too because obviously you gotta love Piper, and I like Adonis too. I like Adrian Adonis. I was trying to draw the comparison between Adrian Adonis and Jesse Goddard's, because Jesse Goddard's by Pope's description is the modern day Adonis. So I'm trying to figure it out. I was excited though. First off, Adrian, you just too big to be falling over them ropes like that multiple times. You can't be doing that. I know that's some pain involved, and you just can't. You just can't be doing that. I love the sleeper exchange that happened there at the end. I like that a lot. It was cool to see Brutus Beefcake come out there and bring Piper back to life in the crowd. Whoa! The crowd was so hyped, and I was like, yeah, bring it back. And then he locked the sleeper on Adonis, and Adonis got shaved and all that. Got like probably the worst haircut of his life. But I definitely like this match. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I like this match. I love the sleeper holds. Again, another thing that the Cena era has ruined for wrestling. You can actually win with a sleeper hold. It is possible, kids. It is possible. I feel like that's one of those moves that you just never, ever win with ever anymore. Same as like the DDT. I mean, it's slowly coming back with Dean Ambrose, but, I love going back and watching matches where more simple, moves can win matches, like sleeper holds, DDTs, cross bodies apparently can win a match. But, it was fun.
High move, Casey. A cross body is a high line.
I mean, it is. It is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But let's move on to another 6-man tag. We got the Hart Foundation and Danny Davis versus the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. I don't think it is possible to go wrong with the Hart Foundation and the British Bulldogs in the same match. It's classic. It is classic. Danny Davis hits Davey Boy with the megaphone from Jimmy Hart, and with the ref distracted. This was just a really good match. They kind of went over, the history of Danny Davis, former referee. I forgot exactly what happened with this whole storyline, but I just liked seeing the British Bulldogs and the Hart Foundation. Obviously, there's family there. British Bulldog is related to the Harts via marriage. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly when they got married. So I don't know if this was before that. But it's always good to see them in matches together. They had really good chemistry, I felt like. And then you have Tito Santana, who is awesome too. Any thoughts on this match?
Yes, I agree. You cannot go wrong with that combination. And Danny Davis had me cracking up because we talked about this with Eva Marie. I was like, this needs to happen. I was like, Eva Marie needs to do exactly what Danny Davis was doing. Just sit out there, maybe come in, hit a couple moves, run away, and then hit somebody with a megaphone and end up picking up the pin. That's just how it needs to happen. It needs to happen. They can copy this one. They can do it. But I thought it was great to, get some heel heat on Danny Davis, making him get the win and kind of just escape out and whatnot. And I just feel like that would be a good route for Eva Marie too, because everybody's like, oh, she sucks. Well, let her do less, and then people will really say she sucks. So it'll work out.
We don't have to think. We know. We know she sucks. Come on now. But anyway, we got Butch Reed versus Coco Beware. Love Coco Beware. I did feel like this could have been a bit of a better match. I did notice, I don't know if you noticed this, there's a couple times in this match where you could clearly see Butch calling spots in this match. It kind of reminded me of John Cena. You could clearly just see him, okay, we're going to go for it. You can see it. Come on now. But then again, this is WrestleMania 3, so, things have changed. John Cena maybe needs to go back to earlier WrestleManias where this would be okay, But Butch wins with a handful of tights. He doesn't care. He'll grab the tights. He'll grab them. Thoughts on the match? Thoughts on, calling spots in matches and being caught by fans?
I didn't notice it. I notice more of the. I don't notice the out loud calling spots thing for some reason. I don't know if I just don't look deep for it, but like I do tend to notice when someone whispers in someone's ear to do a spot. I notice that all the time now. For some reason, like I saw it in a video one time that's how they do it, and like now I see it all the time. Like I every time I watch a match, I probably see it. I see it especially with guys like Kurt Angle, who call their spots during the matches. But this match was okay. I didn't love it, but it was just okay to me. There wasn't really anything sticking out.
Yeah. So next we get one of the best matches ever in life, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match. Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Like I said, arguably the greatest Intercontinental Championship match in WWE history. It kind of competes with Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon. I feel like those are two of the best Intercontinental Championship matches. But this one is a little bit better because Macho Man always used to call it the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And it makes it seem so much bigger. Come on now. This was a really amazing match. Great in-ring work and storytelling between the two. The ref gets knocked out during the match. Savage tries to use the ring bell again, but George Steele stops him. Steamboat wins with DJ's favorite finish of all time, the classic roll-up. He loves it. I'm sure he marked out during that. He was like, yeah, yeah. It was, so good, so good. thoughts on the roll-up? I mean, or any other part of the match, or the roll-up.
I agree. This match was good. I liked it. Thought it was really good. I knew it was gonna be really good with these guys. But yeah, the roll up. No, don't do that to me. Just let him finish with the elbow. Just let him finish with the elbow. Oh, I don't know what Ricky Steamboat's finisher is for some reason, but yeah, just let him finish with that. You know, make me feel like he's supposed to win this match. Make me feel like George Steele didn't help him win this match. But just back to the promos too, since we're not really going over the interviews or anything. I don't know, for this time, like at this time, I really liked the promos. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like the passion that they were using, especially like Hulk and Macho Man, but it was also some other guys that like caught me by surprise too, just throughout the night because there were so many of them. You know, I just kind of enjoyed it. And actually, this style of pay-per-view reminds me a lot of TNA. If you think about it, because when they do their pay-per-views, especially their live pay-per-views, they do match, interview, match, interview, match, interview. So they kind of have this similar style to this. If you've never really noticed it, but you know, like as far as the promos were concerned, I really liked them. And I think. I don't know what it was. It was just something about them that I just really enjoyed them. I thought the I feel like guys like Apollo Crews going back and thinking about that. Like I don't know. Like is that an issue? You know that he kind of gets into a character when he starts to talk, because that's exactly what every one of these guys did. But obviously these guys were more like character based and more gimmicky, I guess you could say. You know, obviously Hulk Hogan doesn't. Well, he probably doesn't walk around. You know, you got the 9-inch python, or I don't know how many inches it was. He would say, but you know what I mean. Like obviously he doesn't walk up to somebody and be like, "Do you see the pythons, brother?" You know. Obviously, you know. I'm just saying, but
I mean, you know, Macho Man did, you know, because he was never out of character, ever.
I mean, I think Warrior probably did. in all seriousness, I'm gonna run. He probably was going like on a run, right? And he was like, "I'm gonna run forever."
But anyway, speaking of good promo guys, wrestlers, whatever, and unfortunately, this guy did not get a promo tonight or this night, which kind of upset me a little bit, just a little bit. We got Jake the Snake Roberts versus Honky Tonk Man. This was a really good match. I felt like it was a little bit underwhelming just following the Intercontinental title match. Unfortunately, you know, you get that sometimes when you have a really good match, and then, you know, the match following it kind of suffers a little bit just for being in that position on the card. You know, it's not necessarily a bad match, but, you know, just following a really good match is kind of sometimes hard. But I really like this match. I'm getting more into watching Honky Tonk Man matches. You know, I'm kind of being more entertained by him the more I watch. And Jake the Snake was always classic, you know, especially, like I said, his promos were always – he was one of those guys that he wasn't really over the top, but the way he spoke, you kind of, like, you couldn't help but, like, get kind of entranced by what he was saying. But any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I definitely like this match. I thought it was pretty good. I love, you know, Jake the Snake and the use of the snake. You know, and how the snake has a name. You know, love it. I was surprised about the I don't know, something about the Honky Tonk Man. I can't always get behind. I don't know if it's a character or what it is, but like, I mean, I like the character, but it's just sometimes like I just can't get behind him. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match. I definitely liked it. I do think it was kind of underwhelming because it was behind the kind of match of the night, but you know.
Yeah. So, another tag team match. You know, Justin would say this was way too tag team heavy because he hates tag teams. He's a hater. We get the Killer Bees. You know, those Killer Bees, man, they're vicious. Versus the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff. I loved the Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff. I felt like they were just a great heel tag team. One of the more iconic heel tag teams to me. You know, Sheik and Volkoff end up getting the DQ win in this match. I felt like this was a little bit too one-sided. You know, the Killer Bees aren't one of those teams that really went down in WWE history as, you know, I mean, because clearly when you say the Killer Bees, I mean, you know, you automatically picture these guys. Yeah. Thoughts on the amazing tag team of the Killer Bees and that other tag team? I think what are they? The Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff. Who's ever heard of them? But the Killer Bees. The Killer Bees.
Yeah, I thought this match was, you know, pretty good too. I love this match of the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkoff too because you kind of remember those guys that are more iconic than Killer Bees. But you know, as a tag team, you know, on the outside, you know, Killer Bees, that sounds like that's a team we need now. You know, we need a Killer Bees return, maybe. You know, Heath Slater probably would be in it because but yeah, I like this match. I thought Nikolai Volkoff and the Iron Sheik were kind of a perfect team for the time. They remind me of kind of one of those foreign teams, but you know, obviously they're not necessarily from the same region. But you know, I like this match nonetheless.
Same region. Don't be racist. Come on now. The Killer Bees are obviously from Africa. You know, African Killer Bees. Get it? Next, we get one of the more iconic matches in WWE history, I feel like. The WWF Championship match. The Irresistible Force versus the Immovable Object. We got Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. I feel like, and many of other reviewers have said this, in-ring wrestling-wise, this wasn't anything really spectacular. I don't feel like it was just the build-up and, you know, was great. You know, these were two of the biggest stars at that point. I mean, even in history now, you know, going at it at WrestleMania. I mean, if you think about it going back now, even the slam by Hogan isn't really that impressive just compared to, you know, I mean, I hate that I'm talking this guy up, but John Cena has even slammed Big Show. But, I mean, it was just
not
so
even slammed. He's AA the man. F you the man, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah.
The greatest of all time. It's a fact. It's a fact just by your statements there. Greatest.
Thoughts on this match? I can't believe I just had to say that.
Yeah. As far as like, you know, obviously the Cena Big Show thing doesn't necessarily compare to this because Andre the Giant was dumb, stupid, dominant at this time. I didn't mean to call him dumb and stupid. No, I mean like he was like ridiculously dominant this time. I think he was on a 5-year winning streak, 5-year undefeated streak at this time, which we'd never seen ever before. So like the comparison can be there as far as size is concerned, but as far as like the moment and whatnot, not necessarily. I loved watching the iconic stare down. Hogan's had a nice little bit of these. He had the one with the Rock too at WrestleMania, which was kind of cool too. You get that iconic stare down they show in the little video packages and whatnot, and obviously the slam, and he took the giant down even before the slam. So I like this match just because it brings back all the memories from the video packages that I've seen over the course of the years. Not that I actually got to watch this live or anything, but I'm wondering because I know you're kind of, this is kind of more your area than it is mine. Did managers sometimes call spots during matches, especially for guys like Andre? Because like Andre obviously wasn't the greatest English speaker in the world, but I feel like were managers like there to kind of call spots too, or no?
I don't.
Because obviously like he had Bobby the Brain Heenan, and two, you can even go back to like the Great Khali too, who had Ranjan Singh or whatever when he first came out.
Yeah, I don't know about managers. I know even referees, help call spots and things like that. I don't know about managers as much. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I know referees are definitely they do a lot more than they seem like they do. But yeah, you caught me off guard there. I don't know. I don't know everything, guys. I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. It's close to everything, but it's not quite there. But anyway, yeah. Obviously, we got to see a bunch of the iconic moments that you kind of see in WWE's, video packages, things like that. Even opening to like Raw or not necessarily Raw, but the that new Then Now Forever thing. We see different clips from WrestleManias. But to actually go and see these matches, the iconic stare down from Andre and Hulk. Later on we'll see some more iconic stare downs featuring Hulk Hogan and others. But yeah, that'll be WrestleMania 3. This review didn't seem as long as I thought it would. There was a lot of matches, but we kind of got through them pretty quick. But all in all, what's your thoughts on WrestleMania 3? I know you and Justin, are younger, so you don't like going back in the day as much as I do, because being old and everything.
I was the one who requested some of these earlier ones. That's why I was like, I want another honorable mention.
Okay, true.
Because Justin's over there requesting WrestleMania 19, and I'm like, no.
He's over there requesting WrestleMania 33, ain't even scheduled yet. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Kind of not. I know because you haven't really been into the older pay-per-views as much until recently.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. To me, it felt like there were a lot and this is something we complain about now. But there were a lot of matches there were a lot of matches on the card. Obviously, there were a lot of matches that had like iffy finishes, like the roll up finishers or DQ finishes, count out finishes, more so than the roll up finish. But there were a lot of matches that were really short. It didn't feel like we were getting necessarily any closure or extension of some of the storylines, it felt like to me. But I mean, I like the show. I like going back and watching it. It was interesting because like a lot of these matches are slower, which I think is hard to adjust to sometimes, especially as um, a fan who's watched from '97 till now. Like as a fan who's and I mean I was 2 then, so I can't necessarily say I remember everything, but like as a fan who's watched the newer stuff, like more so remembers the ruthless aggression era through now. It's kind of something you have to adjust to when you're watching it. It's kind of like the old, like, even movies that are like classics, instant classics, get it? Even movies that are like classics, sometimes it is hard to watch them because they're in black and white. Even harder than that, silent films are really hard to watch. So like it takes some adjustment as far as like watching these older pay-per-views sometimes.
Yeah. But I feel like it makes you appreciate, wrestling more now. It makes you appreciate the little nuances and, like, simpler, moves like DDTs and things like that, because they seem so effective, back in these early pay-per-views. It was so much simpler, I feel like, but then again, it just comes with, evolution and everything like that,
The Triple H stable?
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to, but people want, bigger, better all the time. So, to kind of go back, it's kind of a culture shock a little bit to watch these older pay-per-views.
I think it kind of makes you, since we are doing the first one, I don't think we're going to do this as much. Well, we might do it for the next one because Justin might actually be here. But
probably not.
I think, like, these are the guys who make me appreciate guys like Ryback and guys like Big Show, guys like Kane. As much as we hate on them for being like huge and not being able to do a suicide dive, still I think these are the guys who make us kind of appreciate those guys, or at least me. I don't watch this stuff all the time, but I do, like, I do appreciate a good Ryback versus Big Show match and how Ryback had to change his style, for example, just for that particular match. But I don't know. It's just
I mean, yeah. I mean, I respect Ryberg. I do. He's a good guy. Feed him more, and he falls down like a sofa. Things like that. Things like that make you really appreciate Ryberg. But anyway, this has been WrestleMania 3. I'm sure we'll have little discussions after each Mania, just kind of our thoughts on it. You know what? Since Justin started it, if you had to tell someone to watch one match on this pay-per-view, what match would you pick?
the match that I would pick, man. It's kind of a tie because I like the Harley Race Junkyard Dog one, but I honestly like the ending more to Adrian, Adonis, and Roddy Piper. I like that match.
All right. I'm trying to decide which match I would have somebody.
And also, while you're thinking, Hulk Hogan is one heck of a seller, if nothing else. You may not love his in-ring work, but that man can sell like nobody's business. I mean, he was on the ground struggling. I don't know if maybe he was winded. That's what it was. He was winded, so let's just bash him even more. KZ.
I'm just saying, he anyway, I would pick this is a little bit cliche, but I really did enjoy this match. The Intercontinental Championship match. Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. it's just a really good match. They really worked well together. They're really good in the ring. Dare I say, better than a wrestler who is immortal and is no longer associated with WWE because of remarks made that were racially derogatory.
Andre the Giant won that match.
Yeah, sure. Why not? But yeah, so that would be the match that I would tell you to go watch on the WWE Network for $9.99 a month, unless you're like Justin and you just probably have the DVD because, you know, Justin has all these DVDs on every pay-per-view of ever. But I'm not sure. What did we decide when we're gonna be doing these on a regular basis?
No, because Justin's really bad at scheduling things.
All right, we will be back on sometime this week.
We'll post it on Twitter before we do it. Like when we figure it out, we'll just post it on Twitter, ICW_podcast, or the Facebook page, the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, and more, with like 8 exclamation points. Either one of those, we'll be posting it there. If you're in any other wrestling group that we may be in, like Wrestle Talk Media or any other one that I probably joined this week, you'll see it there too.
All right.
Before I get kicked out.
Yeah, before we get kicked out. But yeah, we'll be back with WrestleMania 4, I believe, is the next one that we have. If I'm not mistaken, yes. So we will see you. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. And he muted himself. He's afraid to say it. He's afraid to say that we will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh, that was weird. My voice cracked. Oh yeah.